Your child can memorize every character in their favorite game, beat level after level for hours without stopping, and still look you dead in the eye and say they do not know how to start their homework, and somehow that homework has been sitting on the table since 3 in the afternoon. If that picture is painfully familiar to you, what you're about to hear in this video is going to completely change the way you see your child and the way you see this whole situation. Because the answer is not what most parents think it is. It is not laziness, it is not attitude, it is not your child trying to make your life harder. There is something very real going on inside your child's brain that nobody ever sat down and explained to you, and once you understand it, everything is going to make a different kind of sense. Every single part of this video builds on the one before it, so the best thing you can do for yourself right now is turn up your speed to 1.5 or 2 times and let it all play through without skipping a thing. Because if you miss even one part, you might miss the exact piece that finally makes everything click for you. Let us get into it. So picture this. Your child has just spent 4 straight hours defeating enemies, collecting coins, and leveling up in a game. 4 hours, 0 complaints, 0 hunger, 0 bathroom breaks apparently. But the moment you slide a worksheet across the table, it is like you have asked them to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops. And you are standing there thinking, how? Just how? You are not alone in that feeling, and honestly, if it has ever made you want to laugh and cry at the same time, that is a completely reasonable response. But here is where it gets really interesting. Here is point 1 out of 5, and this one right here is the foundation for everything else you are going to hear today. Your child's brain is not wired the same way yours is. Inside every human brain, there is a section called the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the CEO of the brain. It handles focus, it handles planning, it handles starting tasks that are not immediately exciting. In children with ADHD, that CEO is not fully developed yet. It is like having a company where the boss keeps stepping out of the office. Things fall apart, nothing gets done. Not because the workers are bad, but because the one responsible for giving direction is not fully in the building yet. This is not a parenting failure. This is not your child being difficult on purpose. This is biology. This is the way certain brains come into the world, and when you understand that, the frustration you feel starts to shift into something a lot more useful, which is understanding, because you cannot fix something you are misreading. If you keep treating a brain difference like a behavior problem, you will keep getting the same results. More conflict, more tears. More homework still sitting on the table at 9 at night. The moment parents learn this, something shifts in them. They stop going to war with their child and start going to work on actually understanding what their child needs. That shift right there is more powerful than any punishment or reward chart ever invented. And it all starts with knowing that the brain you are dealing with is a different kind of brain, not a broken one. There is a big difference between those two things, and by the end of this video, you are going to feel that difference in your bones. Now, there is a mom out there right now who has been blaming herself for years. She has tried every chart, every timer, every reward system she found on the internet at midnight while the rest of the house was sleeping. She has sat next to her child at the kitchen table so many times, walking through problems one by one, only to look over and realize her child has been staring at the ceiling for the past 10 minutes. And she is exhausted. Not just physically, she is exhausted in a way that goes much deeper than that, because she loves her child completely and she cannot figure out why nothing she does seems to work. If any part of that story sounds like yours, this is point 2 out of 5, and this one is going to answer a question that has probably been living in the back of your mind for a long time. There is a concept that comes from the world of ADHD research called the interest-based nervous system. What this means is that a brain with ADHD does not operate the way a typical brain does. A typical brain can look at a task, decide it needs to be done, and get started. An ADHD brain cannot do that on command. It can only truly activate when something meets a very specific set of conditions. The task has to be exciting, it has to be new, it has to feel urgent, or it has to be something the child genuinely cares about. When none of those things are present, the brain simply will not engage. Not because it is choosing to rebel, because it literally cannot find the switch. Now think about video games. Every single thing about a video game is designed to hit those exact conditions. There is always something new happening. There is always urgency. There is always a reward just around the corner. The brain lights up completely. But homework? Homework is the same worksheet format your child has seen 100 times. It is not urgent until you make it urgent. It does not change. It does not respond to them. It just sits there. And for a brain wired the way your child's is, that is the equivalent of being handed a phone with a dead battery and being told to make a call. This is not an excuse. This is an explanation, and explanations are what lead to real solutions. When you stop seeing your child as someone who will not focus and start seeing them as someone whose brain needs a different kind of entry point, everything about how you approach homework time can change. And those changes, the small and specific ones rooted in how the brain actually works, are what finally start making a difference. Now, I could tell you are the kind of parent who does not just scroll past things. You clicked on this video, you are still here, you are listening, and that already puts you ahead of so many parents who are still stuck in the cycle of frustration without ever stopping to ask why. So what you're about to hear for point 3 out of 5, this is the kind of information that will make you feel like you just unlocked a door you have been knocking on for a very long time. Here is what is happening inside your child's brain on a chemical level. The brain runs on a substance called dopamine. Dopamine is the thing that makes you feel motivated. It is what makes something feel worth doing. It is what gives you that feeling of satisfaction when something goes right. Kids with ADHD have brains that do not produce or use dopamine the way other brains do. They are running low on it almost all the time. And because of that, their brain is constantly searching for anything that will produce more of it. Video games are built specifically to do exactly that. Every point scored, every level passed, every new unlock, each one of those moments sends a rush of dopamine straight to your child's brain. The game is basically a dopamine delivery machine, and your child's brain is sitting there with an empty tank, drinking up every drop. That is why they can play for 4 hours and still not want to stop. The game is feeding something their brain is genuinely hungry for. Homework does not do that. There is no instant reward. There is no level up. There is no exciting sound effect when they finish a math problem. For a brain that is already low on dopamine, sitting down to do homework feels like running a race on no sleep and no food. The brain resists it not because your child is bad or lazy, but because it is genuinely and neurologically hard for them in a way it is simply not hard for other kids. Now here is where I want to pause for just a second and tell you about something I put together specifically for parents in your position. I created a program for moms who are raising kids with ADHD and want real, practical tools to help their child get through homework without it turning into a nightly battle. It is called the ADHD Homework Reset, and it walks you through exactly how to work with your child's brain instead of against it, so homework gets done faster, with way less stresses, and without you having to fight for every single minute of it. The link is in the bio. Go check it out after this video because I put everything I know into it for you. And I also want to be honest with you about something. YouTube has not monetized this channel. For reasons I am still trying to understand, they have not approved monetization here, which means the only way I can keep making content like this and keep showing up for you is through that program. So if this video has helped you even a little bit, the best way you can support this channel and keep it going is to click that link and see what is aside. It means more than I can say. Now, this part right here might be the most important thing you hear all day, not just in this video. All day, because point 4 out of 5 is not just about your child. It is also about you, and it is a lesson that, once you learn it, you will never be able to unknow it. When a child struggles with homework night after night and the parent responds with frustration, punishment, or anger, something happens inside that child's brain that makes the problem significantly worse. The ADHD brain is extremely sensitive to negative emotion. When a child with ADHD feels shame, fear, or pressure, the part of the brain responsible for focus and decision-making shuts down even further. It is like trying to water a plant by pouring salt on it. The intention might be to get a result, but the method is causing damage. So every time a parent yells about the undone homework, every time a child is sent to their room as punishment, every time words like lazy or careless are used, the child is absorbing those words and building an internal story about who they are. They start to believe they are the problem. They start to believe they are stupid. They start to believe that no matter how hard they try, they will always fail. And once a child believes that, getting them to try at all becomes 10 times harder. Because why would anyone keep attempting something they are convinced they will always fail at? This is called the shame spiral. And it is one of the most quietly damaging things that happens to children with undiagnosed or unsupported ADHD. The shame does not motivate them. It paralyzes them. And the parent who loves their child more than anything ends up being the one who accidentally deepens that paralysis because nobody ever told them what was actually going on. You are learning that now, right here. And that means the next time you sit down with your child for homework, you carry this with you. You bring patience not because it is easy, but because you now understand that your calm is one of the most powerful tools your child's brain has access to. Your presence, your tone, your willingness to understand rather than punish, these things are not soft options. They are the scientifically supported approach for a brain that needs safety in order to function. This is not about lowering your standards for your child. This is about finally using a strategy that actually works. Now, before we wrap everything up, take a moment and think about your child. Think about the specific moments. The slumped shoulders at the homework table, the "I can't do this," the meltdowns that seem completely out of proportion, the report cards that do not match what you know your child is capable of. Think about how long this has been going on. And now ask yourself honestly, has anyone ever stopped to consider that what your child is dealing with might have a name? Point 5 out of 5 is the one that a lot of parents do not hear until years have already passed. And when they finally do hear it, many of them look back and wish someone had told them sooner. ADHD is one of the most underdiagnosed conditions in children around the world. There are millions of kids right now who are sitting in classrooms being told they are not trying hard enough, being graded down for things that are directly connected to how their brain works, being compared to other kids who do not face the same neurological challenges, and nobody in their world has connected the dots yet. Girls are especially likely to be missed. While many people picture a hyperactive boy bouncing off the walls when they think of ADHD, girls with ADHD often present very differently. They tend to be quietly inattentive. They daydream, they lose things, they forget instructions. They are often described as spacey or unmotivated, and because they are not disruptive, they do not get flagged. They just fall further and further behind while everyone assumes they are simply not applying themselves. In many communities, ADHD is dismissed entirely. It is seen as an excuse, a made-up condition, something children in other countries deal with, not here. And so children who desperately need support go without it. They grow up feeling broken, feeling like failures, feeling like they are somehow less than the people around them, all because the adults in their lives never had access to the right information. You now have that information. What you do with it is one of the most important decisions you will make as a parent. Getting your child assessed, talking to their school, finding strategies that work with their brain and not against it, these are not small things. These are life-changing things, and your child is depending on you to be the one who sees them clearly and fights for them loudly. So let us bring everything together. You came into this video wondering why your child could spend 4 hours on a video game but could not survive 10 minutes of homework, and now you know the real answer. Their brain is wired differently. It only activates for things that are new, exciting, urgent, or deeply interesting. It is running low on dopamine, and video games feed that need in a way homework simply does not. Shame and punishment make the problem worse, not better. And millions of children just like yours are going through this without anyone ever giving it a name or giving them the support they deserve. You now know better. And when you know better, the only real option is to do better. Going back to the old way, the frustration, the punishment, the assumptions about laziness, after everything you have heard today, that would genuinely be doing your child a disservice. You are smarter than that now. Your child deserves the version of you that walked out of this video. And if you want hands-on help taking everything you have learned and turning it into real results at homework time, go click the link in the bio right now. My program was built for exactly this moment, for mums who finally understand what is going on and want a clear, practical, stress-free way to help their child through it. Go check it out. Your child will thank you for it.